thank you everybody for coming out. I'm not surprised you're here because we do have one of the great speakers and great thinkers of Canada with us tonight. And when I think of John Ralston Saul, automatically what comes into mind is the phrase that's always attached to his name, which is our foremost public intellectual.
I've always thought of myself as a novelist, and usually when people say, what do you want, there's a short bio going in, whatever, and I say you put novelist and essays. They don't put essays to novelist. And even after all these years, of writing these essays, I always put novelist and essays, because for me, the aristocracy of the writing world, I mean, the poets, I suppose, are the aristocracy, the great poets, but I think the novelists are maybe we're the plutocrats of the writing world, because the novel really is the most powerful weapon.
If you Google John Ralston Saul, you'll find 300,000 results in a mere 44 seconds. Not so many, admittedly, as Noam Chomsky, 5 million and counting, but he's had 20 more years than John.
How many people have read one of my earlier novels, just out of idle curiosity? Oh, well, I'm alive and well. This is good.
He's also an activist in the best possible way, engagé, to use his vocabulary. He uses his energy and authority on behalf of causes and ideas to which he's committed.
I don't know what you were like, but I know what I was like as a child. I got these books, and then I started reading them, and I'd come to the dining room table, and my parents would say, put the book aside, go reading. And I'm very unhappy. And then I read secretly in my room. And why was, and I'm sure many of you the same, why was that? Well, that's because the first time I think a child discovers that they're actually an individual and they don't belong to their parents, they're not just, controlled by their parents, let alone their teachers, is when they read novels. I think, this is not a problem with our teachers, but with the people who put together our curriculum. I think one of the reasons that children aren't offered whole novels in school, they're offered chapters, is because chapters is controllable. Whereas if you give a kid a whole novel, they're out of control. And I don't think the Department of Education like that. There is a problem, and I don't know if there are teachers in the room, but I think they would agree. There's a real problem with the way we decided, or with us not being able to make up our mind about what we want to do in our schools. It's very interesting, if you look at the literacy rates, in Canada they're about 25%, and in some places they're up to 40%, and what does it mean? Okay, forget worrying about what it means. It means something, and it ain't good, right? And so you say, well, how did that happen? It isn't because the teachers aren't doing their job. They're working really hard at it, and most teachers are good. So it has to be something to do with the fact that the way we're doing schooling doesn't fit with where we are today. It has to do with where kids are, how their minds are changing, partly because of the internet, but partly because of what's happening, how they're communicating with each other, and the schools haven't figured out how to deal with that.